Okay, third grade, we are in week 2 of Unit 1 for Fundations. And last week we did a little bit of review. We reviewed your digraphs, CH, chin, ch, SH, ship, sh, CK, sock, k. We knew that came at the end. TH, thumb, th, and WH, which comes at the beginning, whistle, wa. So these are your digraphs, two letters that make one sound. We had a new concept, though, that we learned last week, your TCH, which is a digraph. So that was something that we learned last week. Last week it was new. This week we're reviewing it because we learned about that last week. So when you have a short vowel sound, if you hear ch at the end, for example, in the word crutch, if you have crutches, you need a crutch. Cr. If you notice, that's a CR. There are very few KR blends. CR blend, a, ch. So I'm not going to put a CH. That's not how you spell crutch because I hear that short vowel. In order to spell crutch, C-R-U-T-C-H. Crutch. That is what we learned last week. We also learned last week that V does not like to be at the end. It is always, most of the time, except for in the word rev, followed by an E. So for example, solve and valve are considered closed syllables even though they have an E at the end because that V does not like to be alone. This week, we're going to do some review. We're going to review your glued sounds. Sorry, third grade, I knocked that board. Your glued sounds. Your closed exceptions. So we're going to review those from second grade. And then we're going to learn how A can make an ah sound, like in the word wash and squash. Okay, get ready for part 2. Okay, so third grade, I told you we were going to do a review now of glued sounds. So you learned about glued sounds in the second grade. Glued sounds are letters that are put together and they make one sound. Now, in second grade, you had sound cards. We do not have sound cards for glued sounds. See if you can remember, though, in your head what the picture was with the sound. So we had A-an, fan, an. A-m, ham, am. A-n-k, bank, ank. U-n-k, junk, unk. A-n-g, fang, ang. O-n-g, song, ong. Let's give the camera some time to focus again. I-N-G, sing, ing. O-N-K, honk, onk. We should have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we're missing some. I have A-N-K, bank. Oh, I know which one. I-N-K, pink, ink. U-N-J, lung, ung. Let's see how many we have now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're missing one. We are missing A-L-L, ball, all. Now, A-L-L, ball, all, is a little different. Because if you notice, all of these have the short vowel sound, right? Short I, ing, short O, ong, short U, up, ung. But all, that A makes a different sound. It makes an aw sound, and we mark it like that. So there are other words in the English language that where the A makes that aw sound as well. They are wash. I don't say sh. That is a closed syllable. And you would say, well, Mrs. Duskalakis, you should say sh. But when an A is followed by a W, it makes that aw sound, like in the word all. When it's also followed by a U, Q-U, like in the word squash. In the word squash, if I was going to tap that out, sh. I don't say squash. I say squash. Let that sink in. That is one of the new concepts for this week, that A can sound like aw. So third grade, let's do a little review of today's lesson. We reviewed our glued sounds. A-N-K, bank, ank, U-N-G, lung, ung, A-M, ham, an, A-N, fan, an, O-N-G, song, ong, etc., etc., etc. We reviewed the glued sounds. If you were going to mark that, if you were spelling it out and you were going to mark that, like in the word rang, remember we put a box around the glued sound. Ang, and it makes one sound. The new concept we learned today is that A can kind of sound like ah, like in the word wash, squash, and in the one glued sound, A-L-L. So if you're going to spell tall, you're going to box that in. That makes an ah sound. Okay, that's it for today's lesson.